It's time for a mailbag here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We got Rob Jackson kicking things off. He says, if the Bears draft an offensive tackle, who is your favorite option? It's a good question. I would say I think it's Joe Alt. Now, there are 5 tackles that I think have separated themselves from the rest of the class, although there's some good options after this. Joe Alt and Olu are like the true, pure left tackles. Fuaga, I think, can play left tackle. I think his tape was better than Olu's this year, but he's been primarily a right tackle in college, hasn't really played on the left side. So for the Bears specifically, that would be a question. Can he kick over to left? Do you feel comfortable with Darnell Wright moving him over to left? Again, this is all in a scenario if they're trying to upgrade for Braxton Jones, who I like and I think you can stick with if you want, but if they want a potential all-pro over there, I don't think Braxton is that. I mentioned Olu. Troy Fountainu, I think, some evaluators like him as a guard, but his measurables were still plenty good enough to be a tackle, which is where he played last year at Washington. J.C. Latham, similar. He can play tackle or guard. I do like Alt the best. I thought he had the best year this year when you evaluate the tape, and the athleticism checked out at the combine and all that stuff. Fuaga is an absolute mauler, so Andy's pretty athletic. He's kind of just Darnell Wright 2.0, so he's an interesting prospect. I still really like Olu. I don't want to get that twisted. I just didn't think he made a huge jump from last year to this year. I thought it was still really good, but I expected him coming into the college football season to be the best tackle, and I don't think he was. I think Fuaga was better, and I think Alt was better. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. If they end up with Olu at 9 or on a trade down, I'm still very cool with that. I think his upside's bigger than Braxton Jones, obviously, but I do think that is worth mentioning. Okay, fill in the blank for us. The Bears will draft blank at number 9. Who's going to be the pick at 9? If you think they'll trade, you can type trade. Let us know. Fill in the blank right now. Allen the God, Keenan Allen. Do you think that the Bears take Caleb first and Dallas Turner at 9 and draft Brenden Rice later in the draft, like what the Texans did last year with CJ and Tank Dell? I could see that. I think edge is going to be talked about a lot at number 9, especially if Odunze or Neighbors don't fall there. If one of them is there, I am still very tempted to take one of those guys. Do want to mention that, but Dallas Turner, Leatu Latu, Jared Verse, certainly going to be discussed. The offensive tackles. Bringing in Keenan Allen gives the Bears options. I mean, they've got flexibility and fluidity now with that number 9 pick. Clark Bar Creations, Odunze or Turner at 9? I think I'd still go Odunze. Because I think he's more like I think he's a safer pick and obviously helps the offense more. We know that. Turner's potential is huge with his athletic upside, but it could take him a year or two. Like, edge rushers don't have as big of an impact as rookies as receivers typically do. We got the Bears. Do you think Eberflus is in the hot seat this year? And if not, when will he be? I don't think he enters week 1 like on the scorching hot seat. I know like some of the fan base will say that and think that, but like I don't think he actually gets on the hot seat unless they get off to a start like last year. I think there's gonna be some leeway considering they are resetting at quarterback here. Now, I don't think they can go 6-11 or something like that or 5-12, but if they go 8-9 or 9-8 and barely miss the playoffs and things are clearly trending up, yeah, I'd be disappointed. Like I really think this team should be thinking playoffs, but I don't think, like I posed the question the other day, is it playoffs or bust? I think it's close to that. I don't think it necessarily is, though. So I don't think the seat under Flus is as hot as people would suggest it is. Alex, at what point do you trade back from 9 versus pull the trigger? I still think Neighbors and Odunze for me are probably trigger pulls if they're there. If not, it depends. Like, if there are still multiple edges available, I'd be comfortable moving down. If one of the top 3 is gone and you're like, man, if I move down more than 2 or 3 spots, they could both go. Maybe you just take one. If all 3 are still there, maybe you trade down and get one. Maybe you love a tackle at 9. I don't know. That's why, again, getting Keenan Allen, having Braxton Jones still, that kind of leaves the Bears flexible in what their options are. Michael Matura, is there any possibility the Bears get a second-round pick? Absolutely. If they trade down from 9, I'd say if they get down to 15 or later, that could probably net them a second. If you're only going down 1 or 2 spots, you're probably looking at more like a third. Like if they go from 9 to 12 with Denver, I Doubt you're getting a second from Denver. In fact, they don't have a second this year, so it would have to be a future second. But I think you're probably looking at their third in that situation, which we've discussed. Trade down from 9 to 12, pick up 76. But then you could trade up for a second because you'd have multiple thirds if you wanted to do that. So definitely think the answer is yes, potentially, Michael. Is it a guarantee? No, it's not a guarantee. Subscribe to the channel. We have Bears content every single day for 100% free. If you want mock drafts on a weekly basis, we got you covered. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Bears news and rumors, we do that as well. When breaking news occurs, we hit you with the video, and most of the time go live. We're your hub for Chicago Bears content on YouTube, so hit that sub button. Joshua Kaplan, who would you draft for pass rusher help in the draft? I mean, my top 3 edge guys, and I'm still debating the order. I kind of change my mind all the time, but I do think it's Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, and Leatu Latu. I think they've separated. I think Latu's the most polished player, but he also has medical questions. He was medically retired at one point, so you'd have to check that out. I think Dallas Turner has the most athletic upside, and he's already a really good run stopper, even though he's a tick undersized for a 4-3 defensive end. And then Verse is kind of in between. Good athlete, bigger than Turner, not as explosive, but pretty good against the run as well. So I think all 3 of those guys. Chop Robinson's an athletic freak. Darius Robinson's intriguing. But I do think those top 3 have kind of separated a bit. Jacob, thoughts on high likelihood of the Vikings trading up for May or JJ? I hope it's JJ and not May, because I think May's pretty damn good. And Josh McCown, the Vikings QB coach, coached Drake May some in high school, so that would be, you would think, a fairly seamless transition. I think May and Kevin O'Connell's offense would be pretty damn good. So I'm hoping New England or Washington gets May and not the Vikings. New England would be great because then he's not even in the NFC. So I think the ideal scenario for the Bears is the Bears take Caleb, Washington takes Jaden Daniels, New England takes Drake May, and then the Vikings trade up to 5 with the Chargers and take J.J. McCarthy. J.J. could still be good. I don't think he's as good right away, though. I think he needs more time to develop. We got DeAndre Swift jerseys available. Jerseys not quite in stock yet. Once they are, we'll pass that along. But if you want to get a jersey, chatsports.com/Swift4. Pick one up today. He is rocking number 4. Those are in stock right now. Joe Hollywood, trade for Justin Jefferson, then trade Jefferson and the 9th pick for the 4th pick to get MHJ. Arizona wants an elite receiver. They can't afford to pay Jefferson. Okay, but how are you getting Jefferson? Just number 1? And I'm still not doing that. I feel like you skipped the first step. Go get Jefferson, then flip him to get MHJ. Well, first of all, I wouldn't flip him to get MHJ because I know what Jefferson is. There's some missing detail in this question. Zeus, trade down to get Chop. Possibility. His athleticism's off the charts. I think he's a bit raw compared to the other guys, but those Penn State guys, man, they are athletic freaks, man. Den of Clips, what are the possibilities of pairing Caleb Williams with Brenden Rice? Decent. I mean, I think 75, that Bears third-round pick, is certainly a potential landing spot for Brenden Rice, and if they take Caleb, you would think he might push for that. Obviously, he's not going to make the pick himself, but he might mention, hey, man, Brenden and I have good chemistry. I think as a number 3 receiver, would be a solid option. And I agree, he's got good size, and I'd like that third guy to have good size with Keenan Allen manning the slot. So, yeah, I could see it. It'd be awesome if he fell to the 4th. I think he's mid-late 3rd, early 4th. That's kind of the range. 75's early 3rds. Maybe you trade down. Who knows? Breaking trends, who would you like to see the Bears bring in to help mentor Caleb? I think the best guy left as we're filming this right now is Ryan Tannehill. I know they signed Brett Rippon. He's a Nate Peterman replacement. Sure, there's probably value in the locker room. He's been in a lot of schemes, a lot of offenses. There's value in that. I know they like Tyson Bagent to develop, but if it's me, I would like to bring in a veteran that has won in this league, that has played at a pretty decent level like Tannehill has, that's seen a lot, that's played deep in the playoffs, AFC Championship game, number 1 overall seed in the AFC one year. I think he'd be a guy that fits the mold of what could be a quality veteran. And plus, if God forbid he has to play, I like Tyson Bagent. Tannehill's probably an upgrade at this point in time, though, in each of their careers. Who is your favorite non-quarterback prospect in this NFL draft? Mine's still Marvin Harrison Jr. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I still think he's probably the safest pick of the entire draft. I think he's extremely pro-ready. I love Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze as well. I'm a big Joe Alt guy. I still love Brock Bowers. I just don't think the Bears are going to draft him. Let us know, favorite non-QB prospect in the draft. Dylan Peterson, if you trade down at 9, what's the dream trade and with what team? I mean, I think the dream is like a double trade, right? Trade down from 9 to 12 with Denver. Maybe they move up a few spots for a quarterback. You get their third-round pick. And then maybe you trade from like 12 to 16 with Seattle or 12 to 18 with Cincinnati. What if Brock Bowers dips and the Bengals want Brock Bowers? I could see that. They're sitting at 18, so that could be a possibility. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to get further down than probably 20 or so because I still want to get one of the edges if I'm trading down. But, yeah, I would want to be somewhere between 12 and 20 if I'm moving down. Pierce LWR, number 9 pick scenario, say Vikings trade with Chargers. What do you think about a trade down with the Chargers so they get Odunze and we get Verse at 11? Pick swap for 69 where we get Javon Baker. So basically you trade from 9 to 11 and pick up 69. That's pretty good. I mean, you move down 2 spots, pick up an early third. I certainly wouldn't be opposed. Now, if Odunze's there, is moving down 2 spots for Verse? That's kind of the question, right? Is Verse plus Baker better than just Odunze? It's tough. It's a tough question to ask. Part of that evaluation might be, how long do you think Keenan Allen's going to be here? If you're unsure after this year, then I'd probably say Odunze in that scenario. Low key, do you think the Bears should have hired an offensive coach to keep consistency for Caleb and not having to worry about another team hiring your OC? Yeah, I mean, look, I still would have changed head coaches. I'm not harping on it at this point. I think the Bears did a really good job in building this offensive staff, so you got to give credit where it's due. I think the combination of Waldron, Kerry Joseph, and Thomas Brown is pretty damn good. You get Beatty, a wide receiver coach that's worked with Keenan Allen, who you end up bringing over, so that works out. But, yeah, I mean, if Caleb Williams is awesome as a rookie, there's a good chance Shane Waldron's gone, so you're having to reset there. But maybe then you just elevate Kerry Joseph, who's on staff, or Thomas Brown would probably actually be the elevation there. So not worried about it, but I'm not going to, all of a sudden change my mind now when I said 2 months ago I would have changed head coaches. Yeah, I still feel that way. Isaiah with the Super Chat. If you Super Chat, it's a guarantee to get on the show. He said, we need Iowa's punter. # punting matters. Yeah, I do wonder if the Bears will have a real punting competition. Right now, Corliss Waitman, I think is his name, is also on the 90-man roster along with Trenton Gill. I don't think you just hand Trenton Gill the job. Now, sure, if you want to bring in a UDFA or something like that to compete, yeah, I'm not going to sign a vet out there to use against my salary cap. But yeah, UDFA to compete, I would certainly be in on that if the Iowa kid falls there. I forget his name, but he is a really, really good punter. He could get drafted. All right, there you have it. We answered as many of your questions as we possibly could. If we missed any, find me on social media at HGramNFL on Instagram, same on Twitter /X, whatever you're calling it these days, at HGramNFL if you have any more Bears, NFL, or just life questions.